Hi, Joseph.
Hey, buddy.
What did we just do?
We just saw Solo.
Did we see it solo?
No, we saw it together. Although I did leave you solo all day.
Yeah, so that's not the best way to do Comic-Con.
Solo's not the best way to do Comic-Con? Wait.
Going solo.
Going solo?
No.
Kind of like going to prom, stag, huh?
Whoa, it's not like going to prom.
What?
Why'd you have to make it weird? Why'd you have to? I'm just checking audio. That's all I'm doing. Dooby-dooby-doo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't have to make it weird.
Yeah. So this is us in our hotel room.
At Phoenix Comic Fest.
Comic Fest. We can't say Comic-Con anymore. Apparently it's... I don't know.
Yeah. So, San Diego Comic-Con, which is run by Comic-Con International, something like that. I don't know.
Obviously not international, if they're just in California.
You see, that's the thing, is San Diego Comic-Con. They call it the International. It's probably like part of the name. International, some, I don't know.
Maybe it
whatever.
stands for ink.
Yeah, maybe it sounds for jerk.
Jerks!
Anyway, that's one of the things Will Wheaton did today. He kind of went off on them a little bit. The crowd loved it.
Obviously.
Anyway, yeah, Comic-Con's definitely better together. But let's talk about the movie.
Okay.
We just saw Solo, a Star Wars story.
I'm gonna come out and say it just right off the bat. You're
Wait.
probably gonna hate me. No?
We'll do a hard stop for spoilers. This is not spoiler part.
This is
Go.
not the spoiler part?
Not spoiler part.
It's not a good movie. It's not a bad movie. But it's not a good movie. There, I said it.
There, you said it?
Yeah.
It felt like a good, fun episode within the Star Wars universe.
It
did not feel like a great Star Wars movie.
It felt super serialized. Did it feel that way to you?
Felt like an episode of Star Wars.
Well, it felt like we had this episode, then this episode, then this episode, then this episode, and then it all kind of just ended.
We're not spoilers yet.
No?
That's not a spoiler.
Just like
you felt like it didn't really flow together?
I'm gonna take one of your sodas.
Okay. So you felt like it didn't really flow?
I don't want to say it didn't flow, because one thing did lead into another, but it felt like it felt like a bunch of radio shorts, you know? Or...
Yeah.
I don't know, just like a bunch of really short episodes that were put together into one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because the linearity between them and the tone of the movie was really strange to me.
Why do you think the tone was weird?
Just like moments that should have been taken seriously weren't necessarily taken seriously at all. I don't know, man. It just felt weird to me.
Yeah.
The tone just felt really weird to me. I don't know. I can't explain it. Parts that should have been taken seriously weren't taken seriously enough. The tone felt really, really muddled. I didn't really know what was going on.
Could you describe the tone?
No.
Because it's muddled?
I couldn't, because it's so muddled. You know, at some points it feels really lighthearted and fun.
Yeah.
And other times...
Which you'd expect with any Star Wars movie.
And then at other times it feels really depressing. But, I don't know, they just don't seem to fit well together. I don't know. It's hard, I'm having a hard time thinking about this movie critically because it just feels like it's all over the place.
So one of the things I thought... There were several beats that we knew had to happen, right? And we'll talk spoilers later, but there's certain things that if you know the history of the character, you knew had to happen in this movie. Those things happen. Is that fair to say?
I think so, yeah.
That's fair to say. Okay. It happened. It checked the boxes. It did what it needed to do. The beginning was not a place we're familiar with. And so that felt a little bit weird. There were a lot of visual cues that felt familiar. But definitely, it. I think it struggled at times to feel like a Star Wars movie. In part because you saw very little of the Empire. Am I spoiling anything yet?
Yeah. We might need to move on to this.
Not yet. Anyway, and what you see, it's a new side of the Empire. That's not spoiling anything, right?
I'm eating some chips.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
That's not spoiling anything. So, because of that, it feels very different. It feels very different. Plus, you're adding to the canon of this character. I was thinking about this earlier today because we're at Comic-Con, right? Oh, I was at Comic-Con.
Show off.
Joseph had to work, right? It's not his fault. And I was thinking, there's a really huge difference between like a franchise like Star Wars, and you take, something like Batman, right? Batman can restart whenever it wants to.
Right.
You can't reboot Star Wars.
No. You'd have to kill.
Right? Like,
well, I don't know.
You're adding, and so they're doing some really interesting things. They're sticking a little bit before, a little bit after, a little bit over here, and we expect with some of these other trilogies, something way over there, maybe in the future, maybe in the past, we don't know. But it's a very different kind of thing. Because I heard someone, I was over here hearing someone talk, and they were talking about the canon, and canon is completely different in comics, right? Because there's not just one in many cases. There are different versions of the same story. That's why we didn't know what was going to happen in Infinity War, because there's been different versions of the story. Mm-hmm. Plus we knew the movie was going to do what suited the movie. Star Wars is different. Everything, there's only so much of it, especially once they got rid of the expanded universe, right? There's only so much of it. It shouldn't be hard to make it work together. Midichlorians. But
you'll never hear that word ever again. In Star Wars canon or universe.
Anyway,
Here's what needs to happen, okay? Disney has been nailing it with the Marvel films, okay? I don't think anyone is ever going to argue that. Okay, they've been nailing it.
Yeah.
If they're going to keep this franchise alive, which really they don't even need to nail it with the Star Wars universe, all it has to have is the name Star Wars on it and people will buy it. But if they're going to keep moviegoers, people that really enjoy movies and really enjoy the Star Wars universe, they need to start nailing the Star Wars movies. And I don't feel like this one did that.
No.
It's a good kind of movie in space.
Yeah. So I think you have to compare this to Rogue One.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think Rogue One overall is a better story. It told a more complete story. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad movie, because it's definitely not a bad movie. It's a great movie.
And I think with another watch, the pacing will feel a little bit better.
It'll feel better, yeah.
That's often what I feel like when I'm adding a movie to the canon.
Mm-hmm.
Is pacing is weird. But once I get used to it, it usually helps. Let me give you an example. So I read the first Harry Potter movie before the...
Read the first Harry Potter book?
Thank you. I read the first Harry Potter book before the movie came out. And then I went and saw it with people at midnight showing, the first movie in college. And we saw it with someone that had never read the book before. Absolutely loved it. This guy absolutely loved it. And I was like, it's way too fast. Like, what's wrong? Anyway, I always feel like pacing is kind of weird. This felt like there might be some pacing issues, but I suspect, like I felt like Rogue One was too fast. It's like, oh, we're on another planet. Oh, we're on another planet. And another planet? Really? Why didn't they put the name on that one? Anyway.
There were a lot of planets.
This one didn't cover a whole lot of places. I can see what you're saying about it being episodic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with additional viewings, it'll feel a little bit better. Yeah. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Or, I'm sure there's a better way to say it. How well did Alden Ehrenreich?
Aldrich?
Aldrich? How well did he do Han Solo?
He did really well. Heinrich.
Heinrich?
Is he German? Sorry. I've got IMDb pulled up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the numbers from last night. You probably already did it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have it in front of me
I
too.
think they have
Box office
over
mojo.
4-day opening. There's expecting 115 million.
14.1 from last night.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but no, he's not German. He's American.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a good actor though, and he definitely nails Han Solo.
There's definitely moments you're like, oh, yeah, that was Harrison Ford. Oh, that was Harrison Ford. Absolutely hit that.
But as does Donald Glover.
We thought the same thing, that he hit Billy D. Williams.
Right, and eventually they go on to make the characters their own. Alden a little bit less, just because I think the movie's about him more. You see him nail like little Harrison Fordisms, you know, which were great.
Yeah.
And
there's probably about 4 times I was like, oh yeah,
boom,
got
boom
it.
goes the dynamite.
Got it.
But Donald Glover, on the other hand, opens very Billy D. Williams.
Yes.
I mean, almost a spot-on impersonation of him. And then eventually the character starts to become his own.
A little bit
thing.
sillier.
Yeah.
But you never get very much of Lando.
Yeah. But even when you do, you know, he's just kind of this. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on to spoilers now.
Should we move on to spoilers?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Magic.
This is your notification that from this point on. Oh, sorry. We should probably. Okay. So, would you recommend seeing the movie?
Oh, yes. Yes, I would recommend seeing this movie.
Do they have to see it in the theater?
No. Honestly, this could be a rental and a cuddle.
But let's be fair. The first Star Wars movie I saw in a theater was Episode 1. And
Really?
I was fine.
That was the first movie you saw?
I grew up on the VHS tapes. I remember we had an old tape of Return of the Jedi. That's what I grew up watching. I don't even know which one I saw first.
I saw the first Star Wars movie I saw in a theater was Return of the Jedi when it was released. Many. Not that many years ago.
I don't think we ever went to go see a re-release.
I saw Star Wars when it got re-released. That was the only one I saw though, because I think that was the only one that came to our theater.
Yeah.
No. All 3 of them came. I saw Star Wars and I saw Empire. I don't think I saw Return of the Jedi yet.
No? Sorry, I'm hitting the camera. I should probably
Anyway, but
make sure it's working.
yeah, no, honestly, yes, you can go see it in a theater, I suppose, if you want to see the Millennium Falcon on the big screen. That's cool and everything, but I don't think you need to go see this one in the theater. Do I recommend it? What else?
If you're a Star Wars fan, it's another chapter in the story.
If you're a Star Wars fan, you have to, and you will.
Now, are people missing anything by not seeing it?
No. And I've said this before. I think this
just like no one's really missing anything for not seeing Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I say that as someone who's only seen like 1 or 2 episodes, which I've seen all of Star Wars Rebels, though. I will say that.
Yeah. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're obviously you're gonna go see this movie in the theaters. That's just gonna happen. Is it a good movie? No, it's not a bad movie. I would never call it a bad movie. I would call it middle of the high road. Like if there was if this rating score was 1 to 5, it would be a solid 3.5. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With 1 being Avatar. And
Rotten Tomatoes has it at 71.
that's fairly good. Really weird.
Yeah, 71.
Yeah. No, I'm just.
I think it's worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a whole lot of money, maybe you wait and you catch it later.
On Redbox.
It'll
Honestly, this
it
one
will
play-
show up on Netflix.
It'll be on Netflix.
It will be on Netflix because Disney's contract won't be up by the time it drops.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna pull it later. So
And then you'll have to pay monuments. Lots
no,
of
they've
cash.
already said that the Disney streaming service is gonna cost less than Netflix. Like they announced that it will be less.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be affordable then.
Yeah. Once you add everything else. Okay, so would you call it a 71?
71?
Is it a 71?
I don't know what that means.
71 out of 100.
71 out of 100? Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Okay.
3.5 out of 5.
The
71 out of 100. 72.
that's
I don't know. I
take that, Rotten Tomatoes.
I'll have to watch it again, but I don't feel like this was a very well put together film.
Yeah, we'll dig into that in a bit. Okay,
Yeah.
hard stop.
Spoilers. You're blocking
Okay.
the tube.
Here's our spoiler side of the review.
Spoilers.
Okay, so let's jump straight to the things that probably had to happen in this movie, right? We had to meet Chewie.
Mm-hmm.
We had to find out how Han met Chewie. We had to see Kessel Run.
Uh-huh.
And
And we had to get an explanation for it, which we did.
But then there were other things that also happened, which I don't think had to happen, but were definitely good.
Like what?
Like, we get to see that he's had the little dice forever.
Now, legend has always been, as I've understood it, that those are the dice that he used to win the Falcon. So,
But that didn't happen.
that's not what happened.
But we do see him win the Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice.
Which we didn't have to see. We didn't have to see that, but we see it. And that was cool.
Well, I think it was important I think that was an important part of the Lando Han story, is that we needed to see them winning, you know, we needed to see exchange of the Falcon's ownership. So I think that was important.
So we find we can see Kessel Run.
Mhm.
We can see Han meet Chewie.
You get to see why the Millennium Falcon's such an a-hole.
We see where he gets his gun.
Uh-huh.
We get to see where he picks up his gunslinger style.
Uh-huh.
And not only is his ship Corellian,
Uh-huh.
he's from there.
And his father used to build them.
And his father basically worked in the shipyard. Yeah. Like, that's cool.
Weird.
But we don't know what happened to Dad.
No.
They created this new character named Lady Proxima, who's kind of like a big...
She's a spin-off of Jabba the Hutt.
Except she's water-based.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They reference Jabba several times.
They do.
Basically, it ends with him. He's
they-
gonna go meet up with Jabba. Yeah.
They reference Tatooine.
Oh, they also
Audience
reference
hates
who
it.
shot first. What?
Audience hates it.
55 on the audience review. On
On Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
That's harsh.
Why do critics like this so much?
We find out that Han was a stormtrooper.
Well, no, he wasn't. He wasn't.
They call him a trooper,
Yeah, an infantryman, an infantry trooper.
but
which I
he
think
worked
is-
for the Empire
Yeah. Well, we knew that.
for about 3 years.
Yeah, that's always been part of Han's story. He was a pilot for for.
So
the
that's, I
Empire.
mean, that's interesting. He's got one of the helmets that we see, and
Mhm.
you know, kind of their safari helmet.
Mhm.
Except they decide to do something which we really haven't seen, was mud.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we've done forests, we've done deserts, we've done water.
Let's do mud.
Let's do mud. It's like, yeah, no, and ice. So yeah, mud was kind of left.
They've done ice before.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is like Hoth, we have ice, right? Yeah, but we got mud. Mud was good.
This might get shorter now because I turned off the AC because I know it's messing with our sound.
Yeah, we don't want to mess. I should probably check something again.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, in terms of
the more I
answering
think
this story, we find out where he gets his name from.
Which is interesting
Yeah.
because the guy asks him, "Who are your people?"
Where do you come from?
And he says,
I don't have
"I
anyone.
don't have any people." He's like, well, Solo.
Solo.
'Cause
Solo it is. So literally, the Empire named him.
Which is poetic in a sense.
No, it didn't happen for Poe. It did for Finn.
Firm.
It's phonetic.
Anyway.
English teacher joke.
Anyway.
Phonetic. Not Poe.
Hilarious.
Not poetic. Rayetic? Go on.
But no, here's and I've said this before. I've said this phrase before. I really feel like this is just kind of Star Wars comfort food.
Yes.
They just kind of remind us of a bunch of things in the Star Wars universe. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at the dice. Hey, look, this is an explanation as to why the Falcon is weird.
Yeah.
Hey, this is. Remember that joke between Han and Chewie? Well, this is where it comes from. That kind of stuff. It just feels like
Why he calls him Chewie.
Yeah, he fills a bunch of these little kind of gaps here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But then again, the whole movie, it felt like about 3 or 4 episodes strung together into a movie.
So we get the Corellian bit at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of common for a movie. You have the, like, this is my backstory.
Yeah.
And then years later, it's like, okay, everything, I mean, there's no real passage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's only one jump in time, right? But then we get the Han the soldier,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of ends with him meeting Chewie.
Which
And then he
feels-
becomes Han the outlaw,
Yeah.
where he does the Kessel Run.
Han the soldier feels really... The whole sequence feels really chintzy to me. And not because of him, but because of that when the outlaw gang shows up. It's kind of... Wait, what? When they're like twirling guns for no apparent reason, and it's just a little sort of...
It's just to see where he picks
Yeah.
up his style.
Um,
And it's short-lived.
yeah.
It's
It does. It comes and goes quite quickly.
We see Woody Harrelson spinning,
Yeah.
6 shooters, basically.
Um,
Which he basically breaks down a rifle, and that becomes Han's gun.
yeah.
Rifle, whatever you call it.
We see Han the soldier, right? And then in that context, he goes back and gives his backstory of how he's now a pilot.
He got kicked out.
Yeah.
It doesn't show it.
Doesn't-
It just said, for having a mind of my own.
Yeah.
Which is in the trailer,
Wait.
right?
The trailer basically shows you the movie.
There were a lot of shots that were in the trailer which were not in the movie.
Yeah. But the trailer...
Or it was different.
The trailer tells a fairly complete version of the movie without the twists at the end.
But
Which
the thing is, because we know the character later,
Mhm.
we kind of...
kind of already know.
We knew a lot of this already.
So
Even
Han,
without the extended universe.
Yeah, Han the
Expanded?
soldier, then what?
Han the soldier, Han the outlaw, Han the... probably going to join the rebellion someday. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, the birth of the rebellion, Han.
Han the lover is in
Han the
there.
lover.
Han the lover.
Han the gambler.
Yes, we see gambling, yeah.
It's like I said, I really feel like this was like about 4 or 5 episodes compressed into a movie.
So it was like a complete comic book run.
Yeah.
Would you say we now have a complete-ish version of Han's story,
I don't really know.
beginning to end.
I'm not 100% where the story leaves us off, but it feels like it's pretty close to him meeting Luke.
I was thinking,
Maybe not right off the bat, but like maybe 2 or 3 jobs down the line is where he meets Luke.
yeah, it skips the Jabba, but he's on the way to Jabba. So there's something in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to see the Jabba movie? No. I don't think we need that.
No.
I think we got what we needed, right? Excuse me. But I was thinking that this is going to play really well before episode 4, because when you see him, you already know who he is, and it's just going to seem like, oh, this guy's in the movie now. Now, obviously, we know everything, right? But it's going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Now he's back in this other thing, and this is going to be cool. So we have all of Luke's story. We have all of Han's story. After episode 9, I think we'll have all of Leia's story.
We find out why there's so many weird costumes just laying around on the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yes, there's some fun Easter eggs. The outfit that Lando wears in Return of the Jedi, that like, I don't know, bone mask thing.
Yeah, covers his face.
Woody Harrelson wears it. And you get to go through the closet and you see all his outfits. Lando's.
You get kind of a spin on the outfit that Leia wears with the... It's not it exactly, but I feel like if you took that helmet part of it off, that would essentially be the costume that she wears to rescue Han in Jedi.
The Mandalorian kind of thing?
No, I don't remember what it's called.
She's wearing the bounty hunter outfit.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway. We see the Millennium Falcon get beat up.
We do. It's like pristine. You see them, and I don't think that they had to do this, but you do see them when they get the, what's it called, coaxium?
Yeah.
They put it into the gun runner storage underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's having trouble with their door.
I don't know. We see a lot of stuff. We see why the Millennium Falcon's engines are burnt out constantly.
That was funny. Yeah, this moment where they're about to just truly succeed, it fails, and you're like, oh, of course they had to do.
Well,
that.
they did,
because that sound we know so well.
Because they injected into the reactor directly, right? And essentially, what happens is it has a backfire. Pop, boom, and then it goes. They upload the mind of
L3E7.
But what is she? She's a robotic rights activist.
Yes.
Robot.
She.
So we find out
one thing that we haven't heard is that this the Kessel Run didn't go. It was more than just the run. It was a freeing of robot slaves and other slaves, and there were Wookiees.
But
what do you call him? A Kashyyyk something or other? What was the insult that Han used?
I don't know.
But basically,
Kashyykian moof milker.
Moof.
Something like that. But whatever it is, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that part in Blood Diamond where he calls him a kefir, and then he just like goes ape crazy on him.
So how Han met Chewie reenacts kind of like
which I expected that to be
the Return of the Jedi scene.
Yeah.
What's that monster? Starts with an R.
They just call him the monster.
Really?
Oh no! They just called Chewie the monster. You're talking about the Rancor.
The Rancor. They called him the Beast. A Beast.
Yeah, the Beast. So it reenacts that, and then you get a little bit of a hint from Jedi when they're reunited again on Cloud City. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted the movie to be better. It wasn't.
Okay, so what
Could have
would have
fixed
made it
I don't
better?
know. I feel really dumb about saying that. Just because I don't have anything that I could say. Here, do this and fix it, except for maybe take another year on it. Maybe it was a little bit rushed. Maybe Ron Howard should have directed from the beginning. Maybe they shouldn't have fired the other guys.
They're only listed as executive producers now.
Lawrence Kasdan, and his son.
John.
Yeah.
John was also a producer.
Because they wrote it.
Yeah.
And he wrote Empire.
He wrote Empire. He co-wrote Seven. Did he write on
I think he
Jedi?
wrote on Jedi. I think he also helped write episode 9 or 7.
9? Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
7. He co-wrote J.J. Abrams on 7. He didn't write on 9. It was someone else.
Yeah.
But they wrote that thing in a couple months. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They start shooting like a month.
My biggest gripe, I guess, is I don't feel like this really developed Han's character very much. Now, granted, he's very established. We all know who he is and how he is and everything, but
We've already seen him die.
yeah. But I just don't feel like it advanced his character very much, and I expected it to, or at least I wanted to see how he kind of came into being. But he kind of already was who he was, and then he didn't evolve into the Han Solo we know. He was just kind of a younger version of that, which I don't know. That probably isn't a good argument, really, but
I think they tried to build up to it. This need for rebellion.
yeah.
They tried to lay the groundwork to help him get there.
Yeah, it felt like, and I think they tried to tell the story of him kind of, he's got this girl that he really, really cares about, and then eventually, we see him transition into the Han that we know in episode
Jaded.
In A New Hope. In A New Hope? What did I just say? In A New Hope.
I don't know what that movie is.
In A New Hope, where all he really cares about is money and doesn't care much about friendship or anything. So.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just.
Okay. 2 things I think we also need to talk about.
Just 2?
Crimson Dawn.
It's run by Darth Maul with no legs.
So what is Crimson Dawn? Just some powerful conglomerate?
They're a syndicate.
Is this like, they never use the term Outer Rim.
No.
They never say Outer Rim.
Mm-mm.
But, there are other powerful forces. Did they call them a cartel? Or were they referring to Jabba the Hutt with the cartel bit?
I don't know. They kept calling them a syndicate.
In the past, they've always referred to as the Hutts as gangsters.
Yeah.
They've used that term. And they reference at least twice, without saying Jabba or the Hutts.
Or the Hutts.
Yeah, we've heard the Hutts referred since episode 1,
Mm-hmm.
so they've laid the groundwork for that. But I would be interested in more about this Crimson Dawn. Like in the future, I would be okay with more about that than I would of a Lando movie or a Han movie.
I don't think we.
I think this Crimson Dawn thing sounds interesting.
I don't think we need a Lando movie. I don't think it would be interesting. Lando's a better supporting character anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it needed a movie.
I think this would lead well into a Crimson Dawn series.
And I have an idea.
Or this would lead really well into we could continue the story and have him run into Boba Fett. That would be interesting.
What happens next for Kira?
I don't know, but I almost feel like there's something I'm missing, like maybe in the show or something with her. I feel like they're setting her up to be something big. Warwick Davis
He showed up again.
Does he have a perfect Star Wars record? Is he in every single movie?
He was in Rebels.
Uh-huh.
He was in... No, he wasn't in A New Hope.
I thought he was like a robot or something.
No, I think his first movie was Jedi. But since Jedi...
Maintained the perfect record.
I think so. I assume maybe Clone Wars, but I don't know. But they did get him into Rebels. He did this. But also he did Willow with Ron Howard as well. So...
Yeah.
And Paul Bettany. He got Paul Bettany in there.
Barely. I feel like Paul Bettany could have been a... Dude, was there a villain in this film?
See, that's the thing, right?
There's no bad guy.
Well,
you had Paul Bettany, and then it wasn't Paul Bettany, and then you had his trainer guy, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, he's a little bit bad, and then Kira's a little bit bad.
Yeah, and then...
She's the only... I mean,
and that
yes,
is
and they're
why-
always reference someone's above you. So
Yeah.
there's always some other person. At the end, you find out that the other person is Maul. And I believe he has his mechanical legs. I think they added a sound effect that's...
Yeah.
And we see... He had shown up in Clone Wars, I believe. He comes back in Star Wars Rebels, and that's where he dies. Spoiler, right? Who warned you? So I would be interested in something in the middle where... I mean, because they definitely set up Maul to do something.
Yeah.
And they set up this Crimson Dawn concept and Kira. That, I think, has legs.
Yeah. That feels like a big setup. And you know what? I bet that's Jon Favreau's new thing. Jon Favreau's in this movie. Apparently he's the little pilot guy.
Did you confirm that it was Pilot Guy?
Yeah, I did confirm that.
That's interesting.
His voice sounded really familiar.
Did it?
Just wasn't, I couldn't lay a finger on it.
Yeah.
When I saw Jon Favreau, I didn't think it would be him, but
So,
it was.
so at Phoenix Comic Fest, Jeremy Bullock, who was in the suit for the original Boba Fett, he was here. They canceled his panel today in favor of him staying to sign more autographs. I wonder why he's so popular this week. Maybe it's because they announced the next Star Wars movie in this offshoot is gonna be a Boba Fett movie.
Is it really?
They announced it, I think, well, I don't think Star Wars said it, but I believe Hollywood Reporter picked it up. And they better have a good source because they're not gonna make themselves embarrassed. So,
Okay, so.
but I
not
suspect
confirmed.
that's why.
Hold on, I'm Googling this right now.
Thank you. I suspect that's why he blew up today. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, I think Mandalore's been covered in Rebels and the expanded universe stuff. Mandalorians, they could have some cool stuff in the future.
Star Wars Boba Fett movie is happening. James Mangold will direct a Star Wars movie about Boba Fett.
He did Logan.
What else has he done?
Yeah.
Because I really like.
You really liked Logan. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the tidbit stuff that happened today. Yeah.
Another standalone movie rumored is Obi-Wan Kenobi, which Stephen Delver was considering directing.
I do think a Kenobi movie could be interesting,
I think a Kenobi movie.
but they
could
have
be
to do
good.
more than what they just did with Han Solo.
Yeah, I think a Kenobi movie could be interesting, partly because Ewan McGregor is a perfect age to come and play that character again.
Yeah. And I'm sure he'd be ready to do...
There is...
I mean, I assume he's got a good relationship with Disney.
Yeah.
He's doing Christopher Robin right now.
There is
Or did.
some good story to be told there. You know what I mean?
We don't know what happened all this time.
You could do the whole lone samurai thing. There's just, I watched Kill Bill the other day, and it just reminded me of how funny those are. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of really good story to be told there. At the same time, but this Boba Fett movie, this actually, the events of this film actually lead well into a Boba Fett movie, I think.
So,
because Boba Fett would essentially be Han's next stop. So Alden could basically come in, play Han. We get to expand on him just a little bit more. But in a movie about Boba Fett.
So we'd have him cameo?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he'd cameo. Like, I feel like he'd play a major antagonist.
So we can't ignore the prequel trilogy, because they intentionally introduced him, right? We meet Jango Fett, and then we see little Boba holding his dad's helmet.
Yeah. Just helmet.
He picks up the armor.
If you watch
and then the
Shadow,
next thing
his
we
head
see,
falls out.
the next thing we see is, he doesn't do much in the classic trilogy. He's just a cool whatever. So I think Mandalore is definitely something that to dig into, but he's not from there. He's a clone.
Yeah. Well,
from
Kamino.
Kamino. Yeah. So he's not from Mandalore. He racially he's Mandalorian, but we don't even know that he's ever been there.
Which apparently is Kiwi.
It ended up being Kiwi.
So who would they cast to play him? Oh man, they could cast some good people.
You find who would be a good Maori?
Yeah, who'd be a good Maori dude?
Taika Waititi. Too old. Never mind.
No, I bet, what's his name? Could play him. The Waterman. Waterman?
Waterman?
Why am I blanking on?
I don't know.
What's his name? I don't know. Aquaman.
Oh, Jason Momoa?
Yeah. He can play a good Boba Fett. Apparently he can't carry a movie though, which is unfortunate.
People are being stupid. All right, so any final thoughts? I think we've kind of covered all the little bits and pieces.
No, I think we should.
We got to speculation. I think it's good. So I know this was a fun movie. It was a fun chat.
Yeah, no, sorry. Most of this has just been us, like, shooting and researching and stuff. I know it's probably not going to be an entertaining video. We'll probably max out at 20 views. But anyway.
Thank you.
All in all, definitely go see this movie. I may have gone into it with too high of expectations. Now, normally I stay far away from reviews before I go see a movie like this. I didn't do that this time. I saw a lot of reviews. I didn't see any spoiler reviews. And so I kind of went in a little bit like, and I tend to agree with most of the reviewers that I saw. Not all of them. Some of them I can see like little slivers of light. Again, I probably need to watch it again before I make a better call. But at the same time, I really feel like Disney needs to start nailing these movies, and not just from a sales standpoint. They need to tell better stories. Like, I realize that you can make a lot of money with these movies, and I know that this movie's going to make a lot of money just in merchandising alone. But...
Okay, over, under,
yeah.
Is it going to break $1 billion?
I don't know.
I'm going to guess it's probably going to be around what Rogue One did with, like, that three-quarters of $1 billion range.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up.
I don't know, unless something like... unless a foreign something or other latches onto it overseas, I don't see that happening.
Ooh. No, Rogue One made less than that. Rogue One, 532 million. I thought it made more. You think?
Rogue One made like 800 million worldwide.
Is this domestic number? I gotta pull this up. Let me try this again. Because that'd be a good domestic number.
Yeah, that'd be a great domestic. That's probably too much.
Nope,
domestic.
it broke $1 billion. I'm sorry.
It did?
1.056.
So it was a $500 million domestic.
It was about 50% domestic and foreign.
Okay.
Pretty even split. 50.4 versus 49.6 foreign.
I feel like this might do better or about the same. And that's probably Disney's target, though. You know,
Wow, they're smart.
That's probably all they really need. I want them to start nailing these movies because I want them to be good. I feel like this should have been better than Rogue One because we're dealing with a beloved character now. Rogue One, all of them throwaway characters. You know, you never have to see any of them again, and we don't have to ever see any.
They weren't thrown away. They were blown away.
But you know, this movie should have been better than Rogue One, and I feel like Rogue One was a better movie. So.
Yeah. Rogue One looks even better now.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Listening, however you get this. We'll probably post this as podcast too. Yeah.
And we'll be posting a lot more. We've got Comic Fest coming up, so
yeah, I think I want to make sure it's a good edit on the Comic Fest stuff. Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of fun the next couple of days.
Yep.
But first, I need some sleep.
It's early Saturday morning. I should sleep now.
Is it? Oh, it is at least
12:14. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks. Peace.
See you guys.